Good evening. It is 8:18 p.m. exactly on March 17th, 2021 in Dallas, Texas. I will be doing a resumption of my reading of Other People's Money and How the Bankers Use It by Louis D. Brandeis. It's page 128, approximately halfway down the page, section titled Cooperation. Bankers obtained their power through combination. Why should not cities and states, by means of cooperation, free themselves from the bankers? For by cooperation between the cities and the state, the direct marketing of municipal bonds could be greatly facilitated. Massachusetts has 33 cities, each with a population of over 12,000 persons, 71 towns, each with a population of over 5,000, and 250 towns, each with a population of less than 5,000. 308 of these municipalities now have funded indebtedness outstanding. The aggregate net indebtedness is about $180 million. Every year, about $15 million of bonds and notes are issued by the Massachusetts cities and towns for the purpose of meeting new requirements and refunding old indebtedness. If these municipalities would cooperate in marketing securities, the market for the bonds of each municipality would be widened, and there would exist also a common market for Massachusetts municipal securities, which would be usually well supplied, would receive proper publicity, and would attract investors. Successful merchandising obviously involves carrying an adequate, well assorted stock. If every city acts alone in endeavoring to market its bonds direct, the city's bond selling activity will necessarily be sporadic. Its abilities to supply the investor will be limited by its own necessities for money. The market will also be limited to the bonds of the particular municipality. But if a state and its cities should cooperate, there could be developed a continuous and broad market for the sale of bonds over the counter. The joint selling agency of over 300 municipalities, as in Massachusetts, would naturally have a constant supply of assorted bonds and notes, which could be had in as small amounts as the investor might want to buy them. It would be a simple matter to establish such a joint selling agency by which municipalities, under proper regulation of and aid from the state, could cooperate. And cooperation among the cities and with the state might serve in another important respect. These 354 Massachusetts municipalities carry in the aggregate large bank balances. Sometimes the balance carried by a city represents unexpended revenues, sometimes unexpended proceeds of loans. On these balances, they usually receive from the bank's 2% interest. The balances of municipalities vary like those of other depositors, one having idle funds when another is in need. Why should not all of these cities and towns cooperate, making, say, the state their common banker, and supply each other with funds as farmers and laborers cooperate through credit unions? Then cities would get, instead of 2% on their balances, all their money was worth. The Commonwealth of Massachusetts holds now in its sinking and other funds nearly $30 million of Massachusetts municipal securities, constituting nearly 3/4 of all securities held in these funds. Its annual purchases aggregate nearly $4 million. Its purchases direct from cities and towns have already exceeded $1 million this year. It would be but a simple extension of the state's function to cooperate, as indicated, in a joint municipal bond selling agency and credit union. It would be a distinct advance in the efficiency of state and municipal financing, and what is even more important, a long step toward the emancipation of the people from banker control. This ends about 1/3 of the way down on page 131.